What is going on, guys? I am the John Gazm, and I'm coming at you today with another episode of Secrets of Cinema. Today we're talking about another one of DreamWorks' most popular movies, Kung Fu Panda. Originally, I was pretty hesitant on whether or not I wanted to talk about this movie because I haven't seen it in so long and I didn't want to sound stupid pronouncing characters' name wrongs or getting other story facts wrong, stuff like that. And while I was pondering whether or not I should talk about the film, I was wondering when the last time I actually watched it was. And that was the week that it came out, and where I was watching it was Jim Carrey's personal home theater. I don't think I've ever talked about it on camera before, but I have actually met Jim Carrey multiple times and stayed at his house a few times as well. And thinking about it, if the last place that I watched this movie was in Jim Carrey's home theater, I don't think I really want to watch it anywhere else because it's just not going to stack up to how awesome of an experience that was. So upon realizing that, I decided if I'm not going to ever watch the movie again, might as well talk about it. We're not here to talk about how awesome my life is though, we're here to talk about the first DreamWorks movie to ever be released in IMAX, so let's get to it. As always, I want to start off with some of the plot changes that were made to the movie. The scene where Tigress talks about Tai Lung, the antagonist's rampage and betrayal of his father's values, wasn't originally in the movie. DreamWorks had to throw it in there because they found that during test screenings, audience were having a hard time rooting against Tai Lung as the bad guy because they felt too bad for him. He was too empathetic of a character, so they had to add in some backstory to make him come across as more evil than he originally did. This next fact I knew a little bit about thanks to playing games like Mortal Kombat, where you learn a little bit about martial arts and different fighting styles. The individual fighting styles of the Furious 5 members, the tiger, the mantis, the crane, the monkey, the viper, those are all real fighting styles based off of the animals they're named after. So I think it's pretty cool that they decided to make actual characterizations based on these fighting styles. Kind of piggybacking off of that fact, Po actually used the bear fighting style in his showdown fight with Tai Lung. Another cool bit of trivia is that the animators actually took a 6-hour Kung Fu class to prepare for this movie's action scenes and get an idea about what they should be like. Now in the back of my head, I feel like if this was Disney, the animators would have taken like a 6-month Kung Fu class instead of a 6-hour one. Regardless though, I think the movie turned out great. That's no disrespect to DreamWorks. I just feel like that's, Disney's over the top. So I feel like that's something they would have done. Another cool bit of trivia, the production designer and art director actually spent years studying Chinese art and Kung Fu movies to get the ambiance right for this film. In fact, they did such a good job with the Chinese art style that some of the government officials from China decided to get together and discuss why none of their animated movies were made with such high quality. Something you guys may not have known is that this movie was originally going to be a spoof of the entire Kung Fu genre of movies. But that was until John Stevenson said he wanted to have a good combination of both comedy and martial arts because he didn't really think the Kung Fu genre needed to be made fun of. He said that the martial arts genre can be just as good as any other genre of movie if done correctly, and I feel like that's pretty accurate. Now the last fact I've got for you guys is my personal favorite. Some of you guys may not find it interesting, but as a Star Wars fan, I definitely did. At around 19 minutes when Po enters the Jade Palace and sees all of the relics, you can see on his face how amazed he is by all of the stuff in there. Po's reaction is actually based off of one of the director's reactions when entering Skywalker Ranch for the first time. For those of you guys who don't know, Skywalker Ranch is where a lot of the props from the Star Wars movies ended up. So instead of it being at Skywalker Ranch and there being Star Wars memorabilia, it was the Jade Palace with old Chinese relics. And instead of the director, it was Po. And that, you guys, was the last fact that I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Also, if you haven't noticed, I am sweating profusely. There might be a little bit of a mark. There is a little bit of a mark on my shirt. My face looks moist. My hair looks terrible. Don't you worry, I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. So more than anything else, thank you just for putting up with my appearance throughout this video. If you guys feel like doing me a couple favors, make sure you hit that rate button with a big fat thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, maybe about what your favorite fact was, maybe about what movie you think I should cover. Hit that share button down below if you know anybody else who likes Kung Fu Panda and might enjoy this trivia. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be notified anytime I upload another episode of Secrets of Cinema or a conspiracy theory. And in the description down below, there's links to my social media accounts. Go give those a like or follow if you feel like it. As I say in every video though, whether you do all of that or none of it at all, I appreciate you guys coming around and hanging out regardless. Thank you so much for stopping by, and stay fresh.